Hey everyone, today I'm going to share with you my very own sales techniques that I have fine-tuned over 30 years. And not only have these sales techniques given me a ton of success, they've also enabled me to deliver on my promises each and every time whilst building a brand that people know and trust. And in this video, I'm going to show you why you need to be a salesperson first, how your sales will skyrocket if you're honest, and how your brand will be worth more if you deliver on your promises. And be sure to watch this entire video to see my 10 sales techniques that I've been using for 30 years, and it's given me a ton of success. Now, I'm going to show you that sales, it shouldn't be a dirty word, and how you can differentiate yourself from the hungry pack of sales sharks out there whilst being able to apply this across every industry, no matter what you are selling. My name is Richard G-Cornell, and I'm a business coach and mentor to startups, SMEs, and corporate organizations. I've been in business since 1996, and I'm also the founder and owner of an award-winning digital marketing agency here in Sydney, Australia, operating for about 27 years. So let's get into it. Why you need to be a salesperson first. Now, no matter which business you are in or what products and services that you're selling, your number one priority is to focus on sales. Whether you're trained in sales or not, it doesn't matter. You need to be a salesperson first, as your business will rely upon it every step of the way in your business journey. And the irony is that whether you want to do sales or not, if you can't sell or you simply don't want to sell, then you shouldn't be in business. It's as simple as that. Your success will come down to how good you are at sales. And even if you went into business thinking sales wasn't your thing, then think again, because you'll be judged on your sales skills and techniques. You will only be successful in sales if you earn trust by being honest and you can provide better value over your competitors. So if you understand that sales is the lifeblood of your business, then you will also see the absolute importance that effective sales contributes to the success of your brand. And whether you're selling face-to-face or products to an online store, your sales techniques will be scrutinized every step of the way. So it's vital that you learn to love sales even more than the products and services that you're selling. You need to incorporate sales into every aspect of your business, from every initial interaction to even after you've landed that client or sale. Now, each touch point needs to be respected so people can see that you are consistent with the care you provide. And even if you've never been trained at sales, you can learn to sell, and you must learn to sell better than your competitors. So make sales your daily focus and concentrate on mastering the art of effective communication in an open and honest environment. And if you can be the master at sales, you'll never have to worry about where your next dollar will come from. Now, just changing the direction for a second, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to my channel should you wish to see a lot more content like this. My channel's still new, so it goes a long way when I can see the type of content that my subscribers would like to see more of. So if you think this content is worthy of your time, then please like and subscribe, as I would really appreciate it. Now let's get back into it again. Be honest and your sales will skyrocket. I can't emphasize this enough. Be honest every step of the way. I just don't understand how many salespeople get this wrong. And it's such a basic thing to understand. If you do not tell it straight, then how do you expect to earn the respect of the person you're selling to? It just doesn't make sense to me how no one really gets this. Everyone hates a pushy salesperson, let alone a salesperson who is full of it. We can always see straight through these people, and there is nothing more infuriating than someone trying to sell you something when they tell you everything that they want you to hear, just to make a sale. But ultimately, these salespeople may be okay at making a one-off sale, but long-term, it's where they fall apart. Now, I suppose what I'm trying to say or emphasize here is honesty, honesty, honesty trumps everything. If people can see that you're honest, then they will drop their guard and give you the time to present your offering. Whether they buy from you or not, they will walk away with a good impression, which is the most important thing for your brand. And honestly, it's even more important than a one-off sale. So by being upfront and honest, it'll increase the probability for a successful sale, and even more so, increase the success multiples for future sales. By this I mean, if you secured a sale and the customer had a good experience, right? Then you've just increased the possibility for future sales, and this is where you will start to see real growth within your business. Now, if I had $1 for every time I talked myself out of a sale, I would have made $1 million just there alone. Now, I'm not suggesting that my goal is not to sell, but if I think that my offering is not right for the potential customer, then I will let them know that perhaps they should look at something else, even if it means that they seek the services from someone else. Now, let me give you an example. It's very important to get all the negatives out of the way first. Let the person see you as an expert in your field and one that they can rely upon. And I often get inquiries from people who wish to advertise their business through my agency. But after chatting with them for a few minutes, I can see that they're not ready to advertise just yet for a number of reasons. Now, whether their website needs work or their product and service offering needs refining, or simply whether I know that they don't have enough money to consistently advertise their products and services, I'll simply tell them that they're simply not ready yet, yeah? And I won't just turn them away. I'll give them free advice as to what I think they should address first prior to advertising. So when the time comes for them to spend money on advertising, their advertising campaign will have every opportunity for success. And this is an important takeaway, because the takeaway here is that first and foremost, I was honest with the customer and I offered them solutions on where they need to improve. Now, even if that potential customer doesn't spend with me initially, they'll walk away with a feeling of trust for my brand. And guess what? When they're ready to advertise, who do you think they're going to come back to? They're going to come back to me. And then they'll be open to spending money on my business and feeling comfortable in the opportunities that lay ahead. And this is even without me quoting or showing them any of our work, or even having to quote, or they know that I'm the best person for the job. Now, you wouldn't believe how many people I have turned away because of this. But what's ironic is that they have then gone on to write rave reviews for my honesty and reliable advice. And they hadn't even worked with me yet. I've had people thank me so much because they could see I care, because I wasn't out to make money out of them unethically. And I can assure you that this is by far one of the best lead generators I have, simply by being open and honest. And this isn't even a trick on my part. It's because I do care, and because I treat every one of my clients just like it's my own money. And they know this, and this is one of the big reasons why I have a successful brand today. How your brand will be worth more money if you deliver on your promises. Now, I hate when I see salespeople make all the promises under the sun and aren't able to deliver. In most cases, it's better to underpromise and overdeliver, and this is where the customer will walk away feeling like they've received the best value. By giving them something to remember you by, will leave them with a lasting impression on your brand. And this is so important in the longevity of your brand, because every time in the future when they need something, your business will be top of their mind, and that's not easy to achieve. Being good at sales isn't all about making a sale the first time you meet them. It's a process from the initial interaction right through after the delivery of your product or service. And people will soon forget your honesty and approach if the product that you deliver is not what they expected, or whether it is inferior to what you promised. So your entire sales process, it should be consistent every step of the way. And if there is a chink in one of the processes, then you will have let that customer down essentially, and all that work to getting the initial inquiry through to delivering the product, it would have been a complete and utter waste of time. Now, here are 10 sales techniques that I've been using for 30 years. Sales technique number 1, finding your niche. The better and more experience you get at sales, it comes down to understanding who your ideal client is. Now, ask yourself, who do you wish to work with, and where would you find these potential ideal clients? Where are they located? Understanding your niche will give you the clarity and also give you the ability to provide a clear line of communication between you and the brands that you wish to work with. There is no point trying to be a jack of all trades and master of none. You ultimately want to strive for being the best in your market whilst being the go-to business for people within a certain niche or market sector. And be clear on your own offering and know what it will look like to be successful. Understand what products and services are the most profitable for your business, and then formulate your sales offering to that niche with messaging that will resonate with them. Sales technique number 2, preparation and research is key. Do your homework on the person you wish to sell to first. There is nothing more evident in salespeople who haven't done their homework. When you ask them, have you bothered to check out our website? When they say, no, I haven't, well, then this should be your first red flag. How can you take that salesperson seriously if they haven't even bothered to do some research on your brand prior to contacting you? And how are they supposed to give you solutions if they don't even know anything about what you're selling? And at that moment that They are just focused on getting a sale. They don't really care about how they can help you. So be sure to stay well clear of these salespeople. And if you are in sales, then make sure you do your homework so you won't be put into this category. Now, by showcasing to the prospect or the person you're trying to sell to that you've researched their brand, then they'll feel more confident that you're genuinely interested in their business, and they'll be more likely open to sharing more from the onset with you. Sales technique number 3, be respectful and honest. Now, I know I've already emphasized the importance of being honest, honesty every step of the way, but being respectful is also vitally important with your sales approach. Address the person with respectful terms and don't come across as a know-it-all. Clients want to feel comfortable with the salesperson that they're communicating with, and they would much prefer you to tell them if you don't know an answer to a question than just making up something, just for the sake of it. Let them know that you don't know the answer to that question, but you will do some research and you'll come back to them with an answer. And once you have looked into it further, you will gain their respect even more. So be sure to apply this rule to everything that you do. Which brings me to sales technique number 4. Listen to what they want. Don't try the hard sell. Now, they say it doesn't cost anything to listen, right? Well, it's so true. However, it actually costs you more by not listening. So always be attentive and listen to everything the potential client is telling you. The whole point of making a sale is to provide a solution to a challenge the client may be experiencing. So in knowing this, why is it so common that salespeople don't do this? Why is it that some salespeople, they just try to give you the hard sell and don't take the time to find out where they may be able to provide value? I don't get it. They'll be missing out on opportunities they wouldn't have even dreamed of. So the hard sell never works. And why is it that some salespeople think the hard sell is the way to go? No one likes to be dictated to, let alone by a pushy salesperson. And when we talk about conversion rates for sales, by not listening and giving the hard sell is by far the worst trait a salesperson can have and will ultimately harm their opportunities for successful sales. Sales technique number 5, don't be the cheapest and know who you are. You know that you cannot please everyone in this world, and especially when you're trying to sell something to someone. Even though someone may want your products and services, not all of them will be willing to pay your prices. Now, it's really important to know who you are and who your ideal client is, as I said before. And this is also determined by matching the price of your products and services with your ideal client. Now, I'll give you a little example. In my agency, one of the services that we do is to create websites, right? Now, we have an internal team of designers, developers, content writers, and others. And more with our offering means that our prices are not always going to be for everyone. But when we get inquiries and we give a price and the person says that, I can get a website much cheaper, then it's up to us to showcase why our product is superior to our competitors. It's also part of our sales strategy to secure jobs that are profitable and in line with our operational costs. And sometimes we negotiate, that's fine, but we don't want to drop our pants just to win a sale. So walking away and respectfully declining the offer is sometimes the best thing to do. So stay in your lane and know the type of sales you wish to achieve and who you wish to work with is what I really want to emphasize enough. Sales technique number 6, how to be persuasive but certainly not pushy. Now, I've said this before that you must not be pushy, and there is nothing wrong with being persuasive. You often have to fight for a sale and you really need to get your point across in an effective and non-confrontational manner. Very important, but you need to understand the fine line between the two. Now, over the years, I've won jobs that I honestly didn't think I was going to win, just by being persuasive. Now, you can't give up if you think there are still opportunities on the table, but tackle it with caution and make sure if you're persuasive that it is because you know that your offering would really provide true value to the client. Which brings me to sales technique number 7, the art of following up. Never give up. Now, this is something that really baffles me when I see people giving up simply by not following up on the potential client. The salesperson thinks that their work has been completed just by making contact and sending them some information. You have to remember that it's your job as a salesperson to follow it through from first interaction through to delivery. Don't ever assume that the prospect will contact you back when they are ready. The follow-up process is so important, and this is where a lot of potential sales simply fall off the table. By salespeople not respecting this part of the process, there's no point spending time and money in researching the client or being persuasive with them only to not follow up. And crazy as it sounds, this would have to be one of the most important steps in the sales process. So don't stuff it up, because you don't feel it was important enough to complete the transaction. Get it done and then get them over the line. Sales technique number 8, how to close, and don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Now, I see this a lot where salespeople are too afraid to ask the prospect for something. Be very clear on what your expectations are as a salesperson. The person you're selling to, they would have already told you what they want, but what it is that you want, You obviously want the sale, but what does that look like? Do you know when you can contact them back, or do you want to know what their budget is, or do you want to know how long their decision-making process might be? Now, the person will appreciate you asking them questions, and you shouldn't be scared to ask them for something that will help you both form a partnership. If the client tells you that they are not ready to make a decision just yet, then that's all fine. You need to respect that. But you're also entitled to ask them when would be an appropriate time for you to contact them again. And in doing so, the client will know that you aren't being pushy and you won't bother them in the meantime, and they will also expect you to reach out when the time is right. Now, I can speak from experience that some of my most successful sales wins have taken well over 2 years to secure, but I followed them up. I respected their time, and more importantly, they could see from my persistence that I really wanted to work with them, and this goes a long way in any sale. Now, imagine if I just gave up because it was all too hard. Which brings me to sales technique number 9. Make it hard for them to refuse, or to say no for that matter. Leave nothing on the table. Without prostituting yourself, let the prospect know that they have nothing to lose and a lot to gain by working with you. Now, whether it's through your offering, your dedication, your honesty, make them feel confident in you and your business. Very important. You need to find that sweet spot in your offering that leaves the prospect no room to say no. Now, whether it's, like a guarantee or a promise to deliver and meet all of their expectations, just remember that your competitors, at least the good ones anyway, they're doing this. So find out what it is that will make you feel comfortable in your offering, and also what it will take to get the prospect over the line. It has to be right for both of you. There should only be winners here, and there is no point closing a sale if one of you walks away, feeling like less than impressed. Which brings me to my final sales technique, number 10. Make them a partner for life. Now, this is where true growth in your sales objectives is most evident. Having the ability to see a one-off sale turn into a customer for life is the most rewarding part in the sales journey. Now, partners for life, it means that not only is your business top of mind with that client, but it is where you will see ongoing profit. It's much easier to sell to an existing client who knows and trusts your brand than to try to sell to one-off clients all the time. It takes a lot less effort, but it does take consistency, as now you have a responsibility to deliver each and every time. And by letting the client know that you cherish their support, it's vital to the growth in every brand. So takeaway: over-deliver and look after the hand that feeds your business, and this will deliver your business success for the future. Now, this wraps up my video today, and I hope you got a lot of value out of this content, and I really thank you for watching, and I'd love to know your thoughts. So, if you can let me know in the comments below about your sales processes, and if you've had any stories of how long you spent trying to secure a sale, as I'd love to hear it. So, I thank you very much for watching, and I'd also please ask you to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. I would really appreciate it. So thanks very much for today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.